What if the memory loss you have been silently worrying about for the last year, the names you cannot recall, the words that sit on the tip of your tongue, the morning fog that will not quite lift, is not the early sign of dementia at all, but the predictable result of 6 specific nutritional gaps that virtually every American over 65 develops? Gaps your own doctor almost certainly never measured. After 65, the human brain becomes biologically dependent on 6 specific vitamins to repair its connections, generate its neurotransmitters, and protect its cells from oxidative damage. Without them, memory decline is inevitable. With them, in just 21 days, real and measurable repair becomes possible. I'm Dr. Belmore, and I'm going to walk you through every single one. Most people assume the brain ages on a fixed schedule. The truth is that after 65, 3 specific changes happen in parallel, and every one of them increases the brain's dependence on the vitamins I'm about to describe. First, your ability to absorb nutrients from food drops sharply. Stomach acid production declines by up to 40% after age 65, which dramatically reduces how much vitamin B12, iron, magnesium, and calcium your body can extract from the food on your plate. You can eat the perfect diet and still be deficient. Second, the chronic low-grade inflammation that builds in every aging body accelerates inside the brain itself. This neuroinflammation directly damages the connections between neurons, and the only way to slow it is to flood the brain with the antioxidants and methylation cofactors your body uses to repair inflammatory damage. Third, the brain's ability to grow new connections, called neuroplasticity, slows down. It does not stop, it slows down. And the raw materials it needs to keep building new neural pathways, specific B vitamins, omega-3 fats, vitamin D, become harder to come by from diet alone after 65. I want to spend one more minute on the absorption problem because it is the single most important reason supplementation becomes necessary after 65, even for adults eating a careful, balanced diet. There's a substance produced in your stomach called intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor is the only molecule in your body that can transport vitamin B12 across the wall of your small intestine into your bloodstream. Without intrinsic factor, B12 from food passes right through you. After age 65, intrinsic factor production drops in roughly 1/3 of all adults, and it can drop to nearly zero if you take certain common medications like metformin for diabetes or omeprazole for acid reflux. At the same time, the gut bacteria that produce folate, vitamin K, and several other essential nutrients shift in composition after 65 toward a less protective profile. The result is a quiet, invisible nutritional gap that does not show up on a basic annual blood panel. Because the standard tests are calibrated for younger adults, by the time you actually feel the symptoms, memory fog, fatigue, mood changes, numbness in your hands or feet, the deficiency has often been present for years. I want to tell you about a man I'll call Edward. Edward was 71 years old, a retired mechanical engineer from Pittsburgh, married 44 years, 2 grown children. He came to see me because over the previous 18 months he had started, in his own words, losing words. He would stand in the kitchen and forget what he had walked in for. He would call his granddaughter by his daughter's name. His wife had quietly started worrying that this was the beginning of dementia, and so had he. His regular doctor had told him it was probably normal aging and to keep an eye on it. I ordered a complete nutritional panel. His vitamin B12 came back at 211. The standard American reference range starts at 200, so technically Edward was within normal limits. His doctor had checked the box and moved on, but the research is clear that for adults over 65, anything below 400 is functionally deficient. His methylmalonic acid, a more sensitive marker of true B12 status, was elevated. He was profoundly deficient and nobody had caught it. We replaced his B12 and added the other 5 vitamins I'm about to walk you through. 6 weeks later, Edward sat back in my office and told me his wife had stopped quietly worrying. He had his words back, he had his sharpness back, he had his life back. A word on the promise in the title, 21 days. Is that honest? Yes, and I want you to know exactly why. The B vitamins, when taken in the right form and the right dose, begin restoring brain neurotransmitter levels within 5 to 7 days. Vitamin D, when taken consistently, raises blood levels within 14 days. Omega-3 DHA reaches measurable concentration in brain tissue within 2 to 3 weeks. By day 21, the entire methylation cycle that your brain uses to build and repair neurotransmitters is fully restored. The chronic neuroinflammation that has been silently damaging your hippocampus begins to subside, and the structural fats that make up the membranes of your brain cells are actively being replenished. That is what is real, not new neurons grown overnight. but a brain that has been functionally starved for years finally getting what it needs to repair itself. And in older adults, that translates into measurable improvement on memory and processing speed tests within 3 weeks. The 6 vitamins in the order I want you to think about them are this: vitamin B12, vitamin B9, also called folate, vitamin B6, vitamin D3, vitamin E, and omega-3 DHA. Each one is doing a completely different job inside your brain. Take them together in the right forms and they work as a coordinated system. Take them alone or in the wrong forms and you waste your money. Let me walk you through every single one. The first and most important is vitamin B12, also called cobalamin. If you take only one of the 6 on this list, it should be this one. B12 is essential for 3 things your brain cannot do without. It builds the myelin sheath, the protective coating around every nerve in your body, including the ones in your brain. It synthesizes neurotransmitters, particularly the ones involved in memory and mood. And it works with folate to keep an inflammatory molecule called homocysteine at safe levels in your bloodstream. Elevated homocysteine is one of the single strongest predictors of cognitive decline and stroke in older adults. The problem after 65 is twofold. First, as I explained earlier, intrinsic factor production drops. So even adults who eat meat and dairy regularly absorb less and less B12 from food. Second, the standard blood test cutoff in the United States is set at 200 picograms per milliliter, which is dangerously low for older adults. The research is clear that anything below 400 in someone over 65 is functionally deficient. Estimates from the National Institutes of Health suggest that up to 20% of adults over 60 are B12 deficient, and most do not know it. The form matters. Look for methylcobalamin, not cyanocobalamin. Methylcobalamin is the active form your brain can use immediately. Cyanocobalamin has to be converted by your liver, and after 65, that conversion becomes less efficient. The dose should be 1,000 micrograms per day, taken sublingually, meaning dissolved under the tongue, not swallowed. Sublingual delivery bypasses the failing absorption in the stomach and delivers B12 directly into your bloodstream. The action item. At your next doctor's visit, ask for 2 specific tests: serum vitamin B12 and methylmalonic acid, often abbreviated MMA. The second test catches deficiency the first one misses. If your B12 is below 400 or your MMA is elevated, you are deficient. Start a methylcobalamin supplement that week. Within 14 days, many of my patients begin noticing improved energy, clearer thinking, and reduced morning fog. The second vitamin is folate, also called vitamin B9. Folate works as the inseparable partner of B12 in lowering brain-damaging homocysteine. Folate is so important for older brains that the landmark Oxford VitaCog trial, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, found that adults over 70 with elevated homocysteine who took a combination of folate, B12, and B6 for 2 years had brain shrinkage rates 53% lower than the placebo group. Their hippocampus, the seat of memory, was being measurably preserved on MRI. But here's where most supplements get it wrong. The cheap, common form of folate in supermarket multivitamins is called folic acid. Folic acid is a synthetic version that your body has to convert into the active form your brain can use, called methylfolate. Approximately 40% of adults carry a genetic variant called MTHFR that significantly reduces their ability to do that conversion. If you have that variant, folic acid is not just useless to you, it can actually compete with the small amount of active folate you do produce. The form you want is methylfolate, sometimes labeled L-methylfolate or 5-MTHF on the bottle. The recommended dose for adults over 65 is 400 to 800 micrograms of methylfolate per day. Most quality B-complex supplements include this dose, or you can take it as a standalone supplement. One important note: if you have ever been treated for any form of cancer or are currently being monitored for one, talk to your oncologist before starting folate at high doses. Folate supports cell growth, which in some cancer contexts requires careful timing. The third vitamin is B6, also called pyridoxine. B6 is the third and final partner in the homocysteine-lowering trio with B12 and folate. But B6 does more than that. It is a direct cofactor in the production of the major neurotransmitters your brain uses to manage mood and memory. Serotonin, the calming neurotransmitter, requires B6 to be synthesized. Dopamine, the focus and reward neurotransmitter, requires B6. GABA, the inhibitory neurotransmitter that helps you sleep, requires B6. Without enough active B6, your brain literally cannot manufacture the chemistry it needs to think and feel clearly. The form matters here as well. Most cheap supplements use pyridoxine hydrochloride, which is the inactive form. Your liver has to convert it to the active form called pyridoxal 5-phosphate, often abbreviated P5P, on the bottle. After age 65, that liver conversion becomes less efficient. Look for P5P on the label. The recommended dose for adults over 65 is between 25 and 50 milligrams per day. Do not exceed 100 milligrams long term. Chronically high doses of B6, well above this range, usually from poorly formulated megadose B complexes, can paradoxically cause nerve damage of the type the vitamin is supposed to prevent. The dose I just gave you is safe and effective. Higher is not better with B6. Most well-formulated B complex supplements include B12, folate, and B6 in their active forms in the same capsule. That is a sensible way to take all three together once a day with breakfast. The fourth vitamin is vitamin D3, sometimes called the sunshine vitamin. After 65, vitamin D is one of the most universally deficient nutrients in the United States. Estimates from the Centers for Disease Control suggest that up to 70% of adults over 60 are insufficient or deficient in vitamin D, and the percentage rises dramatically in winter and in adults who live north of about Atlanta. Vitamin D is not technically a vitamin. It is a hormone that your skin produces when exposed to direct sunlight. And it has receptors throughout your brain, particularly in the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex, the two regions most involved in memory and decision making. Adequate vitamin D supports the production of new neurons, regulates calcium balance inside brain cells, and reduces neuroinflammation. Deficiency in older adults has been linked in multiple studies to faster cognitive decline, increased dementia risk, and worse mood. The form matters. You want vitamin D3 called cholecalciferol on the label, not vitamin D2. D3 is the form your body produces naturally and uses more efficiently. The recommended dose for adults over 65 is between 2,000 and 4,000 international units per day, taken with a fat-containing meal because vitamin D is fat-soluble and absorbs much better with fat. One critical pairing. When you take vitamin D3, take it with vitamin K2, specifically the MK7 form. K2 directs the calcium that vitamin D pulls into your bloodstream toward your bones and away from your arteries. Without K2, high-dose vitamin D can actually contribute to arterial calcification. Many quality D3 supplements include K2 in the same capsule. Look for the combination on the label. The test you want from your doctor is called 25-hydroxyvitamin D, written 25-OHD. The conventional reference range starts at 30, but for older adults, the optimal range is between 50 and 80 nanograms per milliliter. If you're below 50, you're likely undersupplemented. Let me pause here for 1 second. We have covered the first 4 vitamins. Before I get into the last 2 in the 21-day timeline, do me one small favor. Type your age in the comments below right now, just the number. I read every single comment on this channel, and knowing the exact age distribution of who is watching helps me make better videos for the people who actually show up. And if you're over 65 and have ever had a B12 deficiency in your life, add the word yes after your age. The 5th vitamin is vitamin E. Vitamin E is the most important fat-soluble antioxidant in your body. And after 65, when oxidative damage to brain cells accelerates dramatically, vitamin E becomes one of your most important defensive nutrients. Here's what oxidative damage actually means. Every time your brain cells generate energy from glucose, they produce small amounts of unstable molecules called free radicals. In a young brain, antioxidants neutralize those free radicals as fast as they appear. In an aging brain, antioxidant capacity declines while free radical production rises. The result is slow, progressive damage to the fatty membranes that surround every neuron. Vitamin E is the antioxidant most specifically designed to protect those fatty membranes. A landmark study in the Journal of the American Medical Association followed older adults with mild to moderate Alzheimer's disease and found that those taking vitamin E experienced significantly slower functional decline compared to placebo. They retained the ability to dress themselves, bathe themselves, and recognize family members for measurably longer. But the form matters more for vitamin E than for almost any other supplement. Cheap supplements use synthetic D-alpha tocopherol, which is one isolated form of vitamin E. The natural vitamin E in food comes as a family of 8 related compounds called mixed tocopherols and tocotrienols. Multiple studies have shown that synthetic alpha tocopherol alone can actually displace the other natural forms from your tissues, reducing overall vitamin E activity. What you want on the label is mixed tocopherols with both alpha and gamma forms present. The recommended dose for older adults is between 100 and 200 international units per day. Higher doses, particularly above 400 IU, have shown mixed safety signals in some studies and should only be taken under medical guidance. Food sources are also powerful here. A small handful of almonds, sunflower seeds, or a tablespoon of cold-pressed wheat germ oil daily delivers a meaningful dose alongside the supplement. The sixth and final nutrient is omega-3 DHA. Technically, DHA is a fatty acid rather than a vitamin in the strictest sense, but the National Institutes of Health and the American Heart Association both classify it as an essential nutrient that older adults reliably underconsume. And no list of 6 brain-repairing nutrients is honest without it. Your brain is roughly 60% fat by dry weight. And the single most abundant structural fat in your brain is DHA, short for docosahexaenoic acid. Every neuron in your brain has a membrane made largely of DHA. When DHA is plentiful, those membranes are flexible, neurotransmitters move efficiently, and the connections between cells stay strong. When DHA is depleted, which happens in nearly every older adult who does not eat fatty fish at least 3 times a week, those membranes stiffen, communication between cells slows, and memory suffers. The landmark MIDAS trial, published in the journal Alzheimer's and Dementia, gave older adults with mild memory complaints 900 milligrams of algae-derived DHA daily for 6 months. The treatment group showed memory improvement equivalent to having a brain 3 years younger than the placebo group. 3 years. From a single supplement, the form matters enormously. Look for fish oil in triglyceride form, sometimes labeled RTG or triglyceride reesterified, not ethyl ester form. Triglyceride form is the natural form found in fish, and absorption is roughly 70% higher than ethyl ester. The dose for older adults should provide at least 1,000 milligrams of DHA per day, often combined with EPA, which is the other major omega-3 fatty acid. For vegetarians or anyone who cannot tolerate fish oil, algae-derived DHA is identical to the form found in fish and works equally well. It is more expensive but cleaner. One practical note, take fish oil with a meal containing some fat. And keep your bottle refrigerated after opening. Oxidized fish oil that has gone slightly rancid, can actually damage your cells rather than help them. If your supplement smells fishy when you open it, it has likely oxidized. Return it. Now, what does the next 21 days actually look like inside your body? Let me walk you through it. Week 1, days 1 through 7. The B vitamins begin restoring neurotransmitter levels within the first 3 to 5 days. Most people notice improved mental energy and reduced morning fog by the end of the first week. Mood often lifts noticeably. Many of my patients describe the first week as feeling like a light fog has cleared from their thinking. Vitamin D blood levels are beginning to rise but are not yet optimal. Week 2, days 8 through 14. Methylation pathways are now fully active. Homocysteine levels begin to drop. The B vitamins and folate are working together to support new neural connections. Word recall, name recognition, and processing speed start to feel sharper. Sleep quality often improves because B6 is now adequate to produce GABA, the calming neurotransmitter, in proper amounts. Dream recall often returns week 3, days 15 through 21. Vitamin D blood levels have reached or are approaching optimal range. Omega-3 DHA is now incorporated into brain cell membranes in measurable amounts. Vitamin E is actively protecting those membranes from oxidative damage. By day 21, controlled studies have shown that adults over 65 starting from a deficient baseline show measurable improvements on standardized cognitive tests, including the Mini Mental State Exam and the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. This is not magic. This is biology. You're giving your brain the raw materials it has been quietly starving for in the right forms at the right doses for the right amount of time. The brain knows what to do with them. 3 things to avoid that I see ruin good supplement protocols every single week. First, avoid gummy multivitamins. They look friendly. They taste good. They are mostly sugar with token amounts of vitamins in cheap, inactive forms. After 65, you cannot afford a multivitamin that is essentially candy with marketing on the bottle. Buy real professional-grade supplements from companies that publish third-party testing results. They cost slightly more and they actually contain what the label says. Second, avoid megadoses. There is a popular idea that if a little is good, more must be better. With vitamins, this is wrong and sometimes dangerous. High-dose B6 can cause nerve damage. High-dose vitamin E may interact with blood thinners. High-dose vitamin D can lead to calcium imbalance if not paired with K2. Stay within the ranges I have described in this video. They are the doses that the research supports. Third, Do not stop taking your prescription medications without talking to your doctor. Vitamins are a complement to good medicine, not a replacement. If you're on metformin for diabetes, on a statin for cholesterol, on a blood thinner like warfarin, or on any acid-reducing medication, those drugs interact with several of the vitamins I have described in this video. Bring this video and your supplement list to your next doctor's appointment. Tell your physician what you plan to take. They can check for interactions and adjust your medications if needed. A good doctor will welcome this conversation. If yours does not, that is information worth knowing. Here's exactly what I want you to do starting this week. Step 1. At your next doctor's visit, request 4 specific blood tests: serum vitamin B12, methylmalonic acid, 25-hydroxyvitamin D, and serum homocysteine. Medicare covers these for most patients with cognitive complaints. These 4 numbers will tell you exactly where you stand right now. Step 2. While you wait for the results, start the following 6 supplements at standard doses: a high-quality B complex containing methylcobalamin B12, methylfolate, and P5P-B6, a vitamin D3 supplement with K2-MK7, 2000 to 4000 IU, a mixed tocopherol vitamin E supplement, 100 to 200 IU, and an omega-3 supplement in triglyceride form providing at least 1000 milligrams of DHA per day. Total cost under $35 a month for the entire stack from reputable brands. Step 3. Take the B complex, vitamin D, vitamin E, and omega-3 with breakfast, the largest fat-containing meal of your day. Fat-soluble vitamins absorb significantly better with food. Step 4. Keep a simple daily journal for the next 21 days. 1 sentence per day on how clear your thinking felt, how easily words came, and how rested you woke up. Write it before bed. You will see the pattern emerge by week 2, step 5. On day 21, retest your blood markers if your doctor agrees. The numbers will tell the truth about whether your body absorbed what you took. If your B12 has risen above 400 and your homocysteine has dropped, the protocol is working. Adjust doses with medical guidance from there. A final thought. Memory loss after 65 is rarely a single dramatic event. It is the slow, quiet outcome of small, persistent nutritional gaps that accumulate over years. Edward, the retired engineer I told you about, was 3 years away from being labeled with mild cognitive impairment. He was not actually losing his brain. He was missing 6 specific molecules. If this video gave you something useful, please share it with someone you love. A spouse, a parent, a friend who has been quietly worried about their memory. You may be handing them the answer they have been looking for. And if you want more videos like this one every single week, hit subscribe right now. Next week, I'm going to walk you through the 5 morning habits that double the brain repair effects of these exact 6 vitamins. You do not want to miss it. Take care of that brain. I'll see you in the next video.